can't get offended by that, because it's all part of the building process of putting the design together, and it's ultimately going to be better for the end result. Hey guys, Steve Bewley here from Mandylights once again for you, bringing you another video on this lovely rainy day again. Anyone would think that it rains in the UK a lot, you know, something that we thrive on and absolutely, you know, are known for around the world, our lovely weather. Anyway, yeah, so I just wanted to bring you another little tidbit this morning as I'm driving into the office, and you know, hopefully it'll bring you some value. And you know, this one is about always when you're dealing with a client, it's actually how to deal with the client, and it's absolutely imperative that you listen to the client, you know, and you're there because of that client, and you really should be, you know, it's basic customer service skills. You should be listening to your client and trying to portray what they want, and not your own agenda. There's too many times, and there's too many, well, I mentioned this in a previous video, like egos about, you know, it's all about the light show and it's all about the thing that I've created as an LD. But the most important thing is, the client is paying the bills, and the client is, you know, you have to listen to these people because it's their vision that you're trying to translate. It's not, you've been brought into this situation to design a show for them, and you know, it's not to peddle your own agenda. So it's absolutely imperative that you're listening to the client at all times. And again, I've mentioned this in previous videos, and you know, if you are lucky enough to get a meeting with the artist or the client in the beginning, leave the ego at the door. Go in with, you know, a listening ear, and sit down and, you know, listen to the client and actually, or the artist, and get into their deepest, darkest kind of hopes, wishes and desires. Well, not darkest, I suppose, deep, you know, just hopes, wishes and desires of what they want to almost give to their audience. What is the experience that they're trying to portray to their audience. And you know, this listening is the first. Listening and interpreting is the first step in the design process, you know, because if you've listened and you've interpreted what the client has said, then that's going to instantly put you in a much stronger place to actually design something that the client wants. You know, listen to what the client wants and actually sell them something that they want, instead of trying to just pluck ideas out of the sky and trying to sell them on something that they, you know, that they might want, or they, you know, it's, you know, they don't want, and that they've never seen before. You know, it's so much easier to get across a design and sell that design to your client when you've listened and it's something that they actually want, you know. Basic fundamental sales skills here, and that's again one of the things that you're going to have to learn as a lighting designer. You have to learn basic sales skills and how to sell your designs to your client, because that's essentially what the game that we're in, unfortunately. You know, we have to be salesmen people as well as creatives and all that kind of thing. And if you don't like doing that, if you don't like the sales process, then, you know, if you're in a position, get someone else to do the sales for you. You know, that is possible as well. But, you know, a lot of people like working with people. That's what we're about in this industry. And, you know, people love to work with people. And, you know, that's why this industry thrives. And when you work with a client and develop something from a kind of a simple idea, and work with them and listen to them, and, you know, put your ideas forward, and then, you know, collaborate, and it's all about collaboration, then the results are sometimes astounding, you know. And it's all about that, and it's just listening to the client, you know. And the client might have an amazing idea, they might have a totally shit idea, but the thing is, you have to listen. And the thing is, they might think your idea is shit. It's, but if you form this relationship where you're listening, and they know you're listening, and you're taking it on board, if they say it, if they're actually speaking out, this collaboration relationship starts to flourish. And you'll notice this if you try this out with your own clients, that developing these relationships is actually what keeps you being employed time and time again. And once you have a client, you want to hold on to them. As simple as that. So the better the relationship with that client, then, or artist, or well, they're all clients, I suppose, but the better the relationship, the chances are you're going to retain that client for next time, or at least you're going to get a shout at pitching on the next show. So the better the relationship, it's basic fundamental skills and how to deal with people, and how to work with people. And it's not about the individual in this game either. You might be the head LD, you might be the designer, but you always have a huge team under you, no matter what. And the artist forms part of that team. And like I said, if you can make the artist feel like you're listening to them and feel like they have an input, it's going to be successful, because they have the creative vision to start. They have this vision of what music they want to put out there. They have this vision about what everything is going to look like in this album campaign, for example, or whatever project it is. They have a vision. So it's up to you to go into that meeting, or get on that phone call, or whatever, or take the brief and actually listen to what the brief says, to what the artist says, what the tour manager says. And just a little tip as well, always try and get a meeting and get in the room if you can, because it cements your relationship to start with. You're no longer just a faceless person. Even if you have to fly out to meet the artist or client in a certain place, if they're on tour around the world, or wherever they are, make a point of actually getting on a flight and just get out there and get in a meeting, even if it's for half an hour, even if it's for 30 minutes. Get in that room, listen to what they have to say, and trust me, you'll be in a much better position than just trying to read and interpret a brief from trying to get the words off the page into your mind, because that, we get that a lot. Sometimes it's hard because a lot of briefs aren't so clear, a lot of briefs aren't articulated in a great way, but it's up to us to interpret it anyway. But even another little tip, if you do get the brief, which is on just a PDF or an email or whatever, go through it with a fine-tooth comb and actually develop the questions, and then arrange the phone call. Arrange the meeting, so then at least you can get on that flight or phone call or whatever, get in that room, get on a Zoom call. We've got amazing technology these days of video calling. Get on that even gets the relationship going, because it's face to face and forming a rapport with somebody. But get on that call and start to ask questions, and just listen to what people say. Listen to what the words that are being said. Listen to the look at the body language, look at how are people trying to get their point across, and are they being animated because they're excited, or they read body language, because that will tell you a lot about how to write your pitch, where to start with your design, and you're going to get a lot more from it. So again, like I said, it's absolutely fundamental just to listen. And then jumping forward into later in the process, when you actually are in a room with the artist, you have your sort of version 1, the rig's in front of you, you program some songs, and everyone stands back and watches, and then people start to make comments, and there's another fundamental thing you have to realize, which I'll do a bigger video on, and it's how to take rejection and how to take criticism. You know, there's probably 2 videos I should do about these 2 things, because again, there's a lot of egos in this industry, and when somebody turns around and says, oh, I don't really like that, you have to learn how to take that, interpret what's being said, and not take offense, because it's not being said to try and offend you. It's actually it's part of the process. And you know, if, like I said, if it's the artist saying that, or the management, or whatever, you can't get offended by that, because it's all part of the building process of putting the design together, and it's ultimately going to be better for the end result, you know. And you have to listen to externals, because even though you've got your eyes on it constantly and you think, oh well, this is it, I've cracked it here, it's always nice and it's always good to get a second opinion, or a third opinion, or a fourth opinion, and take notes on what people say, because it's best to address the things and, you know, go over things and try things and try and enhance, and if things don't work, then oh great. But you know, for me, if I'm putting a design together, I'm always trying to improve it, no matter what. It's every day I'd be sitting there trying to improve something, watching the show if I was operating the show, and watching the show through, probably video it like we do pretty much every, you know, chance we get. We film the show and then look back over that recording to try and improve on things and make notes during the show and things like that. But listening to people for constructive criticism is, you know, and just do not take that to heart, because you cannot, and if you do, it's just detrimental to the whole process, because, you know, you just can't do that, and you'll find yourself in a bit of a shit place, and causing arguments and getting a bee in your bonnet about the smallest little thing. And especially when you're on tour, because it's such a pressure cooker environment, you know, these things, you just have to let things go and take everything with a pinch of salt, really. And yeah, so that's my little tidbit for this morning. So I hope this gave you a little bit of value, and yeah, I'll do some more videos very shortly, I think. So yeah, take care guys, and I'll catch you soon. See you soon.